Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Actually, I'm enjoying that noise. You probably won't because you'll find it annoying because you're probably trying to listen. But this is more a watch than a listen anyway. It's been raining since just after I got up. So since it got light really. It's paused a few times and it's come on quite hard on occasions like it is now. I just look at this as a bonus because it means the whole garden is getting watered now, not just the things in pots and the new bit. So it's doing the job for me. And, you know, allegedly there are a few nutrients tucked away in rainwater. And rainwater's far better for stuff than tap water. Right, today we're going to have a look at this, which is a Hibiki. And it's in that cocoa peat. I've been watering this from the bottom and allowing it to soak up rather than pouring water on the base of the plant, which is a bit buried in the cocoa peat. But we do have quite a few new growths coming up from the base of the plant that are currently pushing out new roots. We've got a few kikis as well. I can't remember whether this was in bloom when I got it or not. It didn't need to be because I know what the blooms are like, but it hasn't bloomed since. But it is growing quite well. You know, these growths are still extending. There's new leaves still coming on all of these, and now we've got new growth at the base. And I don't think I've ever taken this out of the pot. You do have an awful lot of roots coming out the bottom of the pot, which is probably going to prohibit me from gently lifting this out. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're going to have to sacrifice those roots. Otherwise, I endanger the new growths at the top, trying to grab hold of the plant, if you see what I mean. That's how we lost the new growth on the last thing I repotted. Can't remember what it was, Cattleya type. Had two new growths and I just grabbed hold of the plant to get it out of the clay pot as it was then, and it took a new growth off where I grabbed the plant, so I'm going to try not to do that this time round. There we go, gently lift it out. Now that's a good root system. That is a good root system. And being peat, the easiest way to get this type of media out is to try and find a space where there aren't too many roots and just put your thumb into the middle of the plant, because in the middle of the plant there probably aren't that many roots, they're all around the outside, and then once you get that hole it'll just peel off. And again, I'm watching the top of the plant where my hand is so that we don't knock off any of these new shoots. Now I'm not going to be able to get all of this media out. I could go and run it under the tap and remove every bit of it, but I'm not going to. What doesn't come off can stay there. Problem is, we've now got quite a major change in media, and sometimes that can put quite a bit of stress on a plant. So if some of the old media stays there, it's not the end of the world. That's a good root system. Quite pleased with that. Quite pleased. It's a little bit tight around the top of the plant, but there's little green shoots all over the place. So the root system is active in many places. So I think what we'll do, we'll put it in a. See, there goes a new growth. There's one gone. That was so careful. Luckily there's enough on here, unlike that Cattleya when there was only two. So we lost half of the new growths. It wasn't so good. There's a wobbly cane there that I want off. Anything else that I want to take off that doesn't look too healthy? Yeah, there's a couple of bits. The thing is, some of these old looking canes here, there's a wobbly one, have actually got shoots coming out of them. They've got kikis, could even be buds I suppose. That's how the buds show. Not sure. Anyway, that's what we're going to do, and that's all we're going to do. There's a new growth on there as well. A lot of these old bits, they've got little bits like that. Yeah? You can see them here. All these little short canes have got little... Now there's a genuine Kiki. That's the real thing. Anyway, that's it. There's still a bit left, but not a lot. That's quite a loose root system now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in small bark and nothing else. But I want it in a pot that's big enough to take those roots. And at the moment, I've only got some clean pot. There's a new one. I suspect that's going to be too small. It'd be nice if it would go in there. You know it will. Right, I'm just going to get some, leave that to one side. So I can do this. Oh, I'll break off, it's easier. Can't hear myself think here with this rain. I'm just going to get some small bark. I'll put a couple of chunks of big stuff in, or medium in the bottom, and then we'll just pop that in small bark. I'll be back. Okay, there's going to have to be a lot of tapping and banging of the pot to get this bark in between all of those roots, because it is quite an extensive root system. We need to get the bark all in here. So really it's just a matter of doing it. It's really, this pot's a fraction too small, but can I get it? No, I can't. It's going to have to go in a bigger pot, so I need one bigger than that. Find one. Tell you what, there's one here. That'll do. That's slightly okay. That's considerably bigger, but it'll do the job, and it's relatively clean. So we'll start again. Put our big stuff in the bottom, or medium if it is, and we'll need a bit more than that because it's quite a wide base pot. That is a smashing pot. I'd love to be able to get loads of those. Nice wide base, almost vertical sides, so that's a nice pot. I'll just get a bit more medium bark. As it's a bigger pot, make sure we've got plenty of crocking. Right, another go then. That's a better fit. That's a better fit all round. Now, I'm going to put some bark in all round. I don't normally do that. I normally start over one side and then push the plant over. But we've got to get this into the base of the plant. And that seems to be working. Jolly good. Still mindful of these growths sticking out sideways here. The problem I've got is what I don't want with this plant is I don't want to be pouring water over the base of the plant where those canes actually start from, because they are prone to rotting at that point. That's why I've been quite happily putting water in at the base of the plant and letting it soak up, which was fine with the media it was in, but it won't be fine with this media. This bark won't soak up from the base. That's not going to happen. We need more. Wait, I tripped over the step and threw that handful of bark all over the place. We do try and keep this sort of tidy in here, you know, with the floor nice and clean and everything, as best I can. Luckily, because it's a hard floor, I can just run the hoover over it and pick up bits of bark and things that get dropped on the floor. quite easily. Right, that's going to do. If I put much more bark in, when I water it, so we're going to go over the top, but there's some new roots here that I want in bark. I'll just have to water it carefully. Go downwards. How are we doing now? Yeah, that's okay. We've got no huge gaps, so most of the roots are there. Top of the pot is raised slightly above the media. As I said, I'm very mindful of the base of the plant starting to get rot in it. It's happened a couple of times before. I've had quite a few of these in the past. I can't remember exactly how many, probably 3 at least, and they've all failed. The one that did best was the one I had on a mount, and that did really well for quite some time, and then it just collapsed. Just literally really fast, went downhill. No apparent reason, as they say. Right, we've got a tag for this one, proper one. So we will put that back in. And now we'll take that out in the kitchen and give it a thorough watering, because it's brand new bark. And then tomorrow, or the day after, we will probably have to water it again because it's new bark, and then repeat the process because it will dry really fast for a while. Lovely shiny leaves as well. Oh, underneath the dust it has anyway. So there we go. Now the reason I've done this at quite early in the day, it's only 12:30 at the moment, is this is a perfect day to put the hot box on. And it's been nearly a month since I've been able to use that because of the heat. I can't, the hot box has to be used with no fans, and I can't have no fans on when it's that hot. So today is an ideal day. It's 20 degrees in here. There's no fans on at the moment. I turned this one off to do this work. So I'll get the hot box on now, and it can have a good 6 hours, because Mojo's not going to want to go out in this, that's for sure. And obviously once I put that on, he's not allowed out anyway, so I have to seal the door up. I'll put some tape down the door. So anyway, a quick repot of something that's been outstanding a while, and that's crossed off the list now, and I'm quite confident. I can't see my screen at the moment, let's turn it up a bit. That looks like buds to me, rather than a new shoot, but we will have to wait and see. But that does look like buds, so this might be coming into flower. But it's certainly in growth mode, and there's good active roots to get into this new media, get the plants settled in while we're in the growing season. So, okay, that's that. That's another one off the list. Nearly all the repots left on the list now are actually Dendrobiums, and a lot of them are the biggies, you know, the big nobelies, and that huge big Phalaenopsis type. Oh, that completely went out of my head then. So there's some big ones to do, and the reason they're getting done is that they've got some cocoa husk in the mix, but it hasn't gone completely off, so those are not urgent repots, but I will get round to doing them. But this one was a bit urgent. I don't like having stuff in this. It's okay if you control your watering. It is actually fibrous cocoa husk, and it is incredibly good. Don't get me wrong, it's very good for root production, but it can get so wet that it can take weeks to dry out, and that constitutes soggy. Soggy we don't want. Moist is okay, heading towards dryness is okay, not totally dry like this is. Yeah, well, I knew I was going to repot it, so it missed its watering run last time round because I didn't want to be messing with. When that gets too wet, it turns into like mud. Yeah. Anyway, that's that one done, and we'll get the hot box on, seal the door up, and give that a go. As I said, it hasn't been on for some considerable time, so we'll give it a good go this time round. The place isn't riddled with bugs, don't get me wrong. I'm not desperate to put it on because we're overrun with bugs. I'm still not seeing bugs in all the places they used to be. And the ones I find are the clusters, you know, where the scale nymphs, embryo, whatever you call them, crawler stage, have clustered together and formed like a little colony. And they get like a waxy seal over the top of them. I suspect they're actually dead, because there's no movement and they're not coming out onto the leaves. So I suspect they're already dead. So it appears to be doing its job, but it also kills pathogens and mould spores. So that might explain why I'm starting to get a bit more mould on some of the leaves now. We've got higher humidity. I haven't got brilliant airflow in here. I've got some, but we're not blasting the socks off of everything. And the hot box hasn't been on to kill those spores off. So let's get it going. And yeah, quick repot. Dendrobium hibiki is, well, it produces cluster type blooms. What section it comes into, I don't know. Well, it's a hybrid for a start. I've got a feeling it's a primary cross, but that I'm not sure of. I'm sure somebody will look it up and tell me. Some people take great delight in telling me things that I don't know, and I don't actually mind. Because you want to go and look it up, fine. but I have no need to look it up at the moment. But I'm pretty sure it's a primary cross. And when they come into flower well, they are quite stunning. As I say, cluster type blooms, that sort of magenta type colour. And maybe we'll see some soon. Maybe. But let's get it settled in its new media first. Right, thanks for dropping by. See you next time. Bye for now.